get around in style. And the dog that commutes by train, all by himself. Whatever you do, don't blink. Realtv is on the air.
Hi, I'm John Daly, back with another half hour of life's most amazing moments caught on tape. We begin high up in the air. It's a skydiver's first jump. A camera rolls on the big event, but it turns out to be a terrible introduction to this dangerous sport. Our Sabila Vargas has the tape from a camera mounted atop a skydiver's helmet.
Several thousand feet above England, a spectacular view of a thrilling sport. A camera mounted in one skydiver's helmet captures the breathtaking beauty of it all. But on this day, a freak accident is about to bring these daredevils down to earth in a hurry. The two men you see are in the middle of what they call a tandem jump. One veteran harnessed together with the novice diving for the first time.
It didn't look right to me. I knew there was a problem.
Ronnie O'Brien is a skydiver shooting the video. His years of jumping experience tell him immediately that the diving duo in front of him is in distress. They should have opened their parachutes by now.
It's about this stage I've decided that nothing's happening and that the reserve's got to be pulled, so I'm going to have a go.
Somehow O'Brien gets close. To his horror, he discovers that a cord has wrapped itself around instructor Mike Smith's neck, choking him. He's unconscious. The student jumper hanging onto Smith has no idea what's going on. No idea that he and his instructor are in a death plunge, spiraling straight toward Earth. Despite the obvious danger of trying to grab onto these spinning skydivers, O'Brien somehow gets a hold of them. He struggles furiously. He tries to get his hand on the unconscious instructor's reserve ripcord. At this point, the three men are now only 2,500 feet above the ground. Ronnie O'Brien needs results, and he needs them now. At the last possible moment, O'Brien finds the cord, and mercifully, the parachute opens. That is the sound of joy and relief from a skydiver who has just managed to foil disaster and save the lives of two fellow jumpers.
I just tried several times, and in the end, luckily, I managed to grab hold of him.
Below him, instructor Mike Smith awakes, drifting toward Earth, confused but safe.
I could then feel the bridle around my neck, and I began to remember then what had happened. And I thought, oh, well, I must have pulled the reserve parachute. I had no idea that Ronnie had done it at that point.
No, Smith says the last thing he remembers after jumping out of the plane was realizing that the cord had somehow wrapped around his neck.
So I started to reach for the knife, which I kept on my trouser pocket. And at that point, I began to lose consciousness. And I don't remember anything from there on until I came to again underneath the parachute.
The guardian angel who swept in to save Smith and his student diver has one very British stiff upper lip about it all. He wants no talk about being a hero.
I think a hero is somebody who has time to think about what they're doing and still reacts to it. I didn't have any time at all, and it was a fairly simple, straightforward thing. I really am not into all this heroism bit at all.
That kind of talk simply did not fly when Ronnie O'Brien was summoned to an audience with Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, who honored O'Brien with the Queen's Medal of Gallantry.
It was very nice. I'm not really sure that I deserved the awards I got. I wasn't going to turn them down.
I know that Ronnie doesn't feel that it's anything special that what he did, but I know for a fact that if he hadn't have been there, we would certainly have died.
The biggest reward really was knowing that Mike and Richard were alive at the end of the day.
The medal from the Queen was one of several honors Ronnie received. To Moscow now for a rare glimpse at justice Russian style. Moscow police have set up a camera to record a sting operation, and we've got the tape. These businessmen operate a small electronics store in the suburbs of Moscow. Today, they're operating in a sting. Russian police have set up a hidden camera in the corner of the office. The owners set up a meeting with the Russian mob, tough guys who offer the businessmen protection for a price. The owners don't want or need these gangsters. They have something else in mind. After the mob makes an offer the businessmen do refuse, the cops move in. The bust became so chaotic, even the businessman in the yellow shirt got mistaken for a bad guy. But in the end, 3 Russian gangsters were charged and convicted of extortion. They're currently serving time. We hope to bring you more great video from the Moscow police in later editions of Realtv. Back home now, they've been saying for years that New York is going to the dogs. Well, now there's proof. Take a look at this video taken by a TV station helicopter. A pack of male dogs looking for love on the streets of New York. They're chasing a female at the head of the pack. Along the way, they cause a bad accident, injuring 2 people slightly. Cops try a roadblock to no avail. Neighbors try to chase them down. They fail too. For 5 hours, the dogs stroll through the Bronx as if it was a Sunday in the park. Finally, cops take out their tranquilizer guns, and it's all over in a New York minute. 4 of the 6 dogs were captured and put up for adoption. Only in New York. And then there are dogs who prefer to take the train rather than walk. It's a dog's life takes on a whole new meaning when you're talking about this curious canine. Every morning for the past year, Bungle the dog has made the 2-mile trek from his home to this train station at Cheadleholm, England. Like clockwork, Bungle hops the 849 to Stockport. The traveling pooch has found a loophole in British rail regulations. The rules require a ticket for any dog accompanying a passenger on the train. Bungle doesn't pay a pound because he travels solo. The big mystery is what's on the other end of the line for Bungle. Is he rendezvousing with a highfalutin French poodle, or perhaps just window shopping? We may never know because he gave the BBC cameras the slip.
When the doors open, he jumps down along the platform, comes down the steps here, down under the subway, through the barrier, then makes his way down to the shopping precinct. I'm given to understand that occasionally he's been known to come up on a bus as far as the station entrance, but you can rest assured within an hour he's back onto the platform, and he knows he goes to the right platform for the departure to take him back to Cheadleholm.
That's right. Bungle returns exactly 1 hour later for the trip home. No one seems to have figured out what compels the commuting canine to take his daily trip. Perhaps some of life's mysteries are best left unsolved. And if your dog gets around in an unconventional manner or does anything unusual, we'd love to see a copy of your tape. Here's how to reach us toll-free. Our number is 1-888-REAL-TV1. We'll be right back.
Still ahead, the tape you'll be shocked to see. The pharmacist on the job, hooked on cough medicine. Later, what happens when you put a jet engine on a limousine? We've got the tape. From Orlando to Oakland, from Pittsburgh to Paris, if it's on tape, it's on Realtv. Now back to John Daly.
Welcome back. Sometimes video cameras bring justice like no cop can. This next story is one such case. The tape shows people you trust in an emergency doing things no one could imagine. As our Michael Brownlee tells us now, they never would have been caught if it weren't for the tape.
They're medical professionals, and they're stealing drugs while on the job. A hidden camera on the left catches this pharmacist drinking cough syrup right from the bottle. But this surprising act pales in comparison to what this surveillance camera caught. In the middle of surgery, this nurse shoots up with a heavy-duty narcotic. Remember, this is right in the middle of an operation. Busting these drug-abusing medical professionals is a full-time job for Connecticut drug control agent Herbert Strickland. His choice of weapon is an undercover camera.
The camera gets us right at the point of the crime, basically. You know, you can speculate all you want, you got to see it being done.
And see it they do. When a professional is believed to be consuming or stealing drugs, Agent Strickland and his crew mount a hidden camera in their workplace. In this case, a hospital nurse is suspected of stealing drugs during her rounds.
As you can see here, we had a camera in, and she had already taken some out of the tray and put it in the left pocket of her sweater.
The split screen shows two different cameras in one pharmacy. On the left, we can see this pharmacist waste no time in getting high.
A female pharmacist just got on duty, as you can see up here. The minute she walks into the store, she pulls a bottle of liquid cough syrup containing narcotics off the shelf and takes a swig right out of the bottle. Our concern is not only is she impaired pharmacist who could make mistakes while under the influence of these drugs, but she has also just put a contaminated drug back on the shelf.
But cough syrup was just her morning buzz. Later in her shift, the camera focused on the counter catches the same pharmacist swiping some pills.
She very delicately opened the containers, took out X number of capsules, and resealed the containers so that any other pharmacist working would not realize that the containers had been opened. You will see her bend over eventually, and what she was doing was hiding them in her socks. And eventually it came out that she was approximately a 20-bag heroin user in addition to the pharmaceutical narcotics that she was taking, including cocaine.
But the videotape that stunned everyone was shot by two hidden cameras in a Connecticut operating room.
Here probably is the most serious offense that we had. We have a nurse anesthetist. This is a nurse who's trained to give anesthesia to patients who are undergoing major surgery. You can see the patient's head here on the operating table. The nurse has just selected the drug fentanyl, and she's preparing the syringes in her hand right here, and she's preparing to inject herself into the stomach area. Fentanyl is such a powerful drug that by any other methodology she would become unconscious. But by this methodology, she retains consciousness. And at the beginning of every surgical procedure, she walks in and grabs what she feels she's going to need for the procedure. She signs out all she gave, but the patient didn't get it all. The patient got some, she got some.
That's right, this nurse was getting high on the drug she was supposed to use to keep the patient under during the operation.
It could be conceivable that a patient could come out of anesthesia while surgery is going on.
In another case, a camera caught this pharmacist pilfering Ritalin from a hospital's drug supply. He claimed he never stole any drugs. That is until he saw this videotape.
He confronted us and said, "Can I see the tape?" thinking that we were bluffing. We played the tape. As you can see, it was only about 15 or 20 seconds. And after he saw it, he just sat there wordless. And after a minute of silence, the agent that I was with said, "Do you want to see it again?" And that broke him.
With the success of Agent Strickland's tapes, the Connecticut Consumer Protection Board isn't going to give his cameras a rest anytime soon.
One of the reasons that we use video is because we can get at the site of the diversion. It's nice to be there to watch it happening. It's necessary because the patients are at harm. And that's our concern, the patients are at harm, and that's what we're here for patient protection. Not for the nurse, not for the doctor, not for the pharmacist. We're here for patients.
And the nurse who shot up in the OR, she and all the others were disciplined. Some were suspended. Others went through drug rehab. Well, a lighter note now, it's time to play the Realtv quiz.
Peter Potter picked a pack of pieces.
Who's the tongue-tied kid in this early 80s Reese's Pieces commercial? He's now a teen idol. Give up? We'll have the answer in a moment.
Coming up, need a lift? Plus, hold your breath for a wild performance. Back in a moment.
Here's the answer to our Realtv quiz.
Peter Pig, I can't get this.
The kid with a mouthful is Joey Lawrence, star of Brotherly Love. Thanks for playing the Realtv quiz. And now for the ultimate in speed and luxury. If you need to get from one place to another fast and in style, this next tape is for you. Las Vegas loves life in the fast lane, but they've never seen anything like this.
Ready to rock and roll. Beautiful day. Now we need about 20,000 people. I'm ready to rock.
Jim Nelson hopes to rock and roll down this new stretch of road, setting a freeway world record of 250 miles an hour.
It takes about 4 seconds. Not very long. The car will go 0 to 100 in about a second. And I've got about 1,100 feet to run.
Jim's attempt has brought out everyone from camera crews to celebrities like Debbie Reynolds.
I don't think I want to be in that car. I'm happy to watch it. I have my earplugs because they say if you don't put these in, your whole head goes off your body.
Talk about rapid transit. This Mercedes limo is equipped with a jet engine that puts out 7,500 pounds of thrust and 18,000 horsepower.
You go about 11 negative G's. You're pulling 6 positive G's. To give you an idea, the astronauts pull 4 G's.
The only G the crowd wants is go. So fasten your seatbelts because Jim's limo is about to turn this freeway into a raceway. Jim Nielsen, you just set a new world freeway record of 266 miles an hour. What are you going to do now?
I'm going to Disneyland.
Yes. Well, that limo gets terrible gas mileage. That quarter-mile run burned 30 gallons of gas. Well, the Canadians check in now with videotape of their precision flying team. They're called the Northern Lights, Canadian pilots with a passion for planes. Their aerial acrobatics show combines slow, synchronized maneuvers with fast-paced daredevil formations. Spectators on the ground are treated to an awesome display of precision. But there's nothing like flying through the eyes of the pilot. This cockpit camera takes you inside the action as it's happening. This is called the Crazy Diamond Rollover. While one plane flies upside down, another does consecutive rolls around it. At 250 miles an hour, the slightest mistake could result in disaster. As the Northern Lights do another aerial dance, the crowd oohs and ahs their approval for a job well done. And we'll be right back.
Next time on Realtv, home video of the fisherman who catches sharks with his bare hands. Next, Realtv. If you have Realtv, call us toll-free at 1-888-REAL-TV-1 or on the web, we're at realtv1.com.
These ballet dancers have gone off the deep end, literally. You're watching the Aquatic Troupe in Tokyo, where for 32 years they've performed the world's only underwater ballet. And this is more than just synchronized swimming to symphonic music. These dancers train 5 years, learning to mime a full repertoire while breathing through tubes. But sadly, these ballerinas are about to permanently surface, so cameras have been invited for this last performance. It seems the danger of earthquakes has shut the show down, leaving these dancers of the deep high and dry. That's it for now. There's more Realtv next time. Until then, don't forget to take your camera with you. You never know when Realtv might happen.